didn't expect a growler.
Sorry, I did. There's a lot of us to drink. This is Off Color Discussions. I'm your host, Joe B. Sitting with me is my man, Billy, as ever.
What's up?
What's up? Sorry, he's busy now pouring. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Smoke Proper. Go to smokeproper.com. Use OCD at time of checkout. You save yourself 10%. You can get a sweatshirt that he's not wearing. I'm not wearing my sweatshirt.
Like, you're pouring this shitty.
No, it's fine.
But they have nice stuff. They are rolling accessories for your tobacco or legal other stuff use only for adults. This episode is also brought to you by Conic Construction. Conic Construction, they do good work, man. They're going to do my kitchen. It's already scheduled.
Tax returns are coming.
If
If you haven't already got them.
Yeah, if you shouldn't have already done it, get on it.
Some people like to wait.
I know. I like to just get it done because
They feel good balling into like May. You know, you wait till the last minute, get that money in right before springtime.
So for the summer,
Yeah.
that's a good idea, I guess.
You spend the first month and a half of summer balling, and then you're broke.
That's true. This episode is also brought to you by our friends Long Blue Cat Brewery that are kind enough to sit with us today, and they brought some Latchkey IPA, which if you haven't had it, you should go there and have it. Dairy, right on Route 28. You should. You guys were popping Saturday.
Londonderry, actually.
Yeah. Londonderry, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys were busy as hell. Did you have prime rib?
He was telling me about this.
There was something that you brought down, right? So while we're sitting there talking when we were there for the Bearded Sinners public meeting that they held there, you walked down first from upstairs with these two roasts that smelled so amazing. I'm like, wow, what is that going to? Where is that going? And then
Not your
maybe
table.
like 10, 15 minutes, you went back upstairs. And I'm like, what the fuck?
They're not
What
even
is going
serving.
on?
Yeah, well, we roast our own meats and, chicken and roast beef, Angus top rounds and things like that for our daily service on our sandwiches and flatbreads and everything.
You have all your
We
kitchen
smoke
like
'em.
upstairs?
We smoke 'em,
Is that what's upstairs?
Well,
A
we
smoker?
have a smoker out in the back patio,
Oh, nice.
basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of smoker?
Just a small little Home Depot one at this stage, but just works really well for taking care of all of our meats, and we even do our pistachios in there.
Oh, smoked pistachios.
Yeah.
Habanero.
Yeah, habanero, chipotle, pistachios, smoked.
Now,
I gotta go back.
I'm
I did not see that.
Yeah. Probably should have brought some on.
I do want to ask, right? So this says 10%. When it first came out, right, that was 10%.
That's the radio face.
Right. No, I know that. Sorry, that's my fault. I should have explained. This is the same growler that I used.
Yep.
So at the beginning, it was 10%. But if you go on your website now, it says 8%.
No.
for the radio face.
The radio
Yeah.
face is that. This is Latchkey.
Right. But what I'm saying is
It says
the
radio face?
your radio face, when you started with it, it said 10%.
Yep.
And now on your website, from what Chad from Bearded Sinners has said, is that he said it was at 8. And I was like, 8? That doesn't make sense. I guess.
That's probably because when we first made the radio face, it was supposed to. Actually, it was 8.4, 8.6, something like that, and it's supposed to be 8.6 or whatever we had it at. When we made it, we actually used not enough water, and so it made it a little bit stronger, and it made it a 10%. And we almost changed the name instead of radio face, making it. We were thinking like Perfect 10 IPA or something like that, but we just kept it radio face, and now we're trying to make it. We're trying to fudge our recipe to make it 10%. We just got the ingredients for it today to make another batch, and we gotta figure out how to make it 10% again.
Yeah, that was good because that did not taste like a 10% beer.
Right.
That was very smooth, like had good flavor, nice soft taste, like you weren't too bitter afterwards. And you're like, shit, man, that's 10%. Like I'm gonna get in trouble.
It's a memorable name. Is there some sort of like stupid story behind it, or
What, radio face?
yeah, or did you just kind of
Not really.
just come up with it one night after too many of them?
So you guys will probably appreciate this, but I mean, if you're on TV and you have a TV face, you're probably good looking. If you have a radio face,
That would be me. That's why I hide behind him on the camera.
a radio face just obviously is someone who probably doesn't really have a TV face.
Yeah,
So the less
I like it.
and looks.
I thought it was really good. This is really
memorable.
good too. This was like my favorite one from there that night. Although that black IPA that you had, that was really good.
I just finished having one of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's one of my favorites.
I saw it.
Black IPA.
Yeah, so the second time that I went there with a friend, on the menu there was a black IPA, but it wasn't available at the time. So I'm like, shit, man, I want to try that one. And then when I came there for the meeting, it was there. I'm like, yep, take it on. That was really good.
yeah.
It's on now.
Yeah, we haven't made that in a couple of years actually, but when we made it back in the day, we loved it. So we were looking for a time that we could actually get it on and brew it again and put it on the tap. And we found a slot and put it on. And it's been a pretty good seller, and it's one of my favorites. I love it. I love it. Good
I
stuff.
haven't got a chance to get down there yet. How many do you guys have? Yeah, I know you're shaking your head, and you should be, because I just haven't had time to get down there. But how many guys do you usually have on rotation?
8.
8 at any one time?
We have 8 tap handles. I mean, we have more beer than that, so we kind of rotate them a little
Right.
bit. But yeah, 8.
Do you go like a staple and then like 2 seasonals?
We
or
have a
something?
few staples.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out which staples aren't going to be our staples, because the ones that are on right now, most of them are kind of our staples. The radio face, the latchkey, the honey ale.
Is that
Black
wildflower?
Ice. The wildflower, that is not one of our.
That one was flying a lot Saturday.
Yeah, it's.
Wild.
Yeah, it was like
the funny
a-
thing is, it's either people love it or hate it.
Is that was it a sour?
It's not a sour. It's actually just an ale that has. It's got like a farmhouse funky. I don't know what the taste is. I can't pinpoint it. We've all been trying to figure out what the flavor is, and we've had even people who, the guys from Great North and other breweries around try it and go, I can't put my finger on what it actually tastes like. But it's made with wildflower honey, and so it's got some
Oh,
weird
my wife's gonna be all
characteristics.
over that one.
Well, the regular honey ale we make is the one we just finished making is just about ready to come on, and it's a spring blossom honey, a little different than the wildflower, but that's more of our signature beer. It's more of the one we've been making for years, and it's really popular, and I love it. I mean, it is yummy. You can taste the honey right in it. So
Yeah, you could taste that
Yeah.
a lot with. I've not been there yet. What is wrong with you?
I got a lot going on, man. Sorry.
That is
well,
true.
we brought a
Sorry.
little bit to you today.
Hey.
We brought some to you.
I have had what was it? We had the radio face in here,
Yeah.
and this one now, and I think I've had one other one. Now, are you selling in stores?
Not yet.
You don't sell even to like specialty stores.
Not yet.
Okay.
No. We're planning on it. We're actually working on canning right now. We just met with our label designer tonight, trying to get the label designs down, because everything else logistically is pretty much in place. Just
Right.
waiting for the label design to be done.
Nice. Because, I mean, when he told me about you guys, I frequent the beer store on Amherst Street a lot, and
Yep.
like to try a lot of different kinds, like anything I can find that's new. And in my wheelhouse, some things I don't do. I hadn't seen you before or heard of it, so when he told me
not
about
out
you,
there
I
yet.
didn't know. Almost, though.
Yeah, almost. Not out there yet, but I'd say within 4 to 6 weeks we'll probably have cans ready. And at the same time, once we get that going, we're going to start probably keg distribution as well.
Nice.
You gonna go for the big quart cans or the 16s? You have an
16s.
idea?
16s.
Yeah.
Instead of going with the crowler, which is a whole different
Yeah.
ball game, because you need a crowler machine that actually makes the crowlers and puts the tops on. We're not going to do 12 ounces either. 10 and 12. I mean, the 12 and 16 ounce cans. We're just going to do the 16 ounce.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
For me, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I think I like the 4 to 6 packs of the 16 ounces.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
6
better.
packs. I like the 4 packs. I mean, the nice 16-ounce 4 packs are just like perfect.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely. Except for everybody comes here and drinks all my beer.
No,
So-
that's when you start sticking people who take your beer, except for me. Growlers there's too much pressure when you get a growler sometimes. You get it and you're
It's
just
4
like,
beers.
Yeah,
Yep.
you don't.
You got to drink them
you
all
gotta
right
drink 'em.
away.
Yeah, you don't want to just leave this much in your growler. So
No.
Yeah.
You know,
And they take up so much room. I have like 4 or 5 of them that just sit there.
4 or 5. I have like 40 or 50 of them.
I got a whole room just for growlers.
Yeah, I do. My wife doesn't like it, but you know, Shane's got about as many as I do.
Now, do you just collect them, or
Not
you just
really.
happen to have them?
We just happen to have
as
them.
a collection.
Like most places, the law used to be that you could not fill up another person's growler. So if you went somewhere and wanted to get a growler, and back then they didn't really have a lot of bottles and cans that they would sell from a brewery, so you had to buy a growler, and you'd buy their growler or 2 or 3, and then you go to a couple of different places, and the next thing you know, you have 40 or 50 of them.
Damn. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Because I only, I've gotten them from, Vermont. When I go to Vermont, grab something in a growler just to bring it home. And, hey, you just got this big bottle laying around.
Well,
but you get to bring something home.
Growlers are kind of, I think, going the way of the dinosaur because of cans. Mm-hmm. Bottles, obviously, have always been around forever, too. But cans are just so easy to carry. The 4-packs go together easy. Like you said, you got 4 16-ounce, beers in this thing here. Well, you're better off having 4 individual beers.
Right.
That you can crack one at a time. And if you don't want to drink all 4, you don't have to,
Yeah.
Put the other ones away.
I always feel like you lose quality once you crack the growler. Like, you get through the first one, you're like, I should probably have another one because I don't want it to, go flat or anything like that.
True.
Sits in there for a couple days. I'm afraid it just goes not as good.
It
but
does. That's not your thoughts. That is what happens.
That is what happens.
You gotta drink it
totally
that night,
lose.
pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had some go to waste just because you have 3 out of the 5.
Mine
and
never
then
really do. But.
I'm so full right now. Shouldn't have ate that, and then I could at least finished off.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, put the cap on. It might be good tomorrow. And you try it tomorrow, and you're like,
Yeah.
should have drank it last night.
That did happen with me with one from Vermont. It was the next day. I mean, I still had half a growler. The next day, it just didn't taste as good.
No.
I mean, it wasn't horrible. It didn't go completely bad, but over a day, you could definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it didn't have a good top on it. It's like a half-ass cork that you couldn't really get back in.
You guys lifelong friends, yeah? Lifelong friends?
Yep.
See?
From here?
From Salem, actually.
New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yep.
But from New England.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We're from this area. Yep. We,
What?
Nobody
Salem.
leaves.
Nobody leaves?
Nobody leaves.
That's because it's
You leave
awesome
and you come
here.
back.
Well, few do,
I
but
did.
most come back.
Yeah.
Shane left. Shane
I left
for
for
a while.
10 years or so. Came back.
I'm
Brought
kind
you
of
back.
transplanted
What's
here
that?
What brought you
by
back?
default.
Just New Hampshire in general. I saw a lot of the United States and lived in quite a bit of larger cities across the country, and just decided to come back here where we got a little everything. The mountains, a lot of great beer, obviously. In this area.
Especially now, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking popping up all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
I think the last I heard, which has probably gone up, is 68
I heard
in New
70.
Hampshire.
I heard
Yeah,
70.
that's
Yep.
Really?
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
In the last how long?
Since-
Last 5 years or 3 years?
Well, 3 years ago, there was 35 or so. So
yeah,
it's like
say in
double
the last
3
couple of
years.
years.
How
Yeah,
long?
it's-
How long you guys been in Londonderry? Londonderry?
December.
Oh,
Londonderry.
December. Really?
Yeah.
yeah, like
Oh wow.
December
when it's open.
6th is when they open.
Oh, I thought it had been longer than that.
No.
No.
That's
No,
still
it's-
fairly young.
it's
and
new
you guys
again.
are popping off that hard.
We had been in there for quite a while, preparing everything for ourselves to get going, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think between you and Kettlehead, I know of are the most recent that I know of in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because they opened up November, you guys were December. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It just, but it's awesome because I don't have time to brew beer, so I'll go drink yours. Like,
Yeah, without a fight.
Yep.
I mean, we've tried a ton of different different beers since we've started this 6 months ago. It's completely opened my mind to the culture of the beer culture in this state especially. I mean, I knew it was big in Vermont. It's big in Maine. I've actually gone there too to kind of experiment, but it's pretty amazing how much it's boomed.
Yeah.
I mean, Colorado and North Carolina were your big craft brew states for ever.
In Oregon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
California's got a few good ones that come out this way, but I just hadn't realized how big of a thing it had gotten to be here.
Yeah.
I find it awesome. It
is awesome.
It's cool to see too what it's doing to the bigger beer companies like Budweiser and Shipyard and what the hell's the other one that I was just thinking of?
Smutty Nose.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're pretty much fucked.
Yeah,
Like they're auctioning off, right?
Could be. It could. You know,
I
we
think
don't.
this week.
Remains to be seen. I think though at this.
We're
point.
hoping they actually get bought by somebody who's going to carry the name and kind of continue and.
Now, what was their issue? Is it just a branding issue that they?
I think it's a financial issue.
I think they just put too much money into the
Yeah.
restaurant, right?
It was
they tried
bad
to
timing.
do too much crap.
It was bad timing. I mean, it's a big facility. They spent a lot of money, so they must have financed a lot of money. We went and took a tour of it when we first before it had even
prior
opened.
to their opening.
It was their first tour, and it's beautiful. But they spent a lot of money on a bottling line,
Damn.
which at right now all of a sudden bang overnight everything went to cans. So bottling line is almost the way of the dinosaur as well. It's almost probably more than they needed for a bottling line. But yeah, I think it was mostly financial. I think they bid off a lot, and then with all these craft breweries coming up, and their sales were not quite the same, and a couple of business decisions like the bottling line and stuff like that, and now they have investors they got to answer to, and I think they're calling their money back is what I think is happening. So they like I said, hopefully they have somebody that will have the money to buy it but keep the name and kind of keep everything going the way it is, keep the guys in place, and just kind of
carry on.
Boost of
Just
finance.
Rebrand a little bit from. I was talking to Chris from the beer store, and he was saying that he feels as being somebody that sells like all the cans and bottles that breweries should rebrand every so often. Like Henniker's finally catching up and changing. They went to like a simple look, but I mean, microbreweries changed the game. Like, if you look at Budweiser's buying as many of the small crafts that they can. Shipyard put out whole new lines. Samuel Adams put out.
Didn't they change a few of their recipes too?
Yeah, for their Monkey Fist, which I have for the second half.
Yeah, it's way better of a drink now. Like, I think it's a much better drink now than it was 3 or 4 years ago when I tried it for the first time. I mean, it really was a punch in the face. I'm sure you guys have had it.
Oh yeah,
even a few years ago.
Flipping the game though. Like Sam Adams has so many
Good for them,
IPAs out now.
Yep.
Shipyard's put out a bunch. They just had a new one come this year. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
They need to stay relevant as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the game's always changing. I mean, the whole New England style IPA that wasn't even going to be considered by people that actually call out the different styles. That wasn't even going to be considered an actual style.
Oh, it's
It
definitely
was more
a
of they were
style.
calling it a trend at one point, and then originally they were calling it like the Vermont IPA, and they just ended up really settling, being that kind of everybody in this area is doing them. Never mind this area, everywhere now, even California breweries, and they're doing their own versions of a New England IPA.
Yeah, I think Stone puts out stuff that's relatively close to like a New England IPA.
Well, they're West Coast
Sierra
IPAs.
They've
They're similar.
always been West Coast.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're
No,
similar.
I know,
I think,
But
right?
some of their new ones that they put out, like that Island Adventure,
Yeah.
I felt that had more of like a citrusy taste to it, and even their the Ripper was more. It felt like an East Coast or a New England IPA versus like their other stuff that they were putting out.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought that up because to me, that's. I mean, not that I've been doing this for decades, but the whole New England IPA thing is fairly new to me. Like, I haven't really seen a lot of that. Is that a new thing that they're actually acknowledging as a style? Because I've heard the West Coast IPAs, I've heard the doubles, the regular, the all of them. I just never heard really, and the way it's kind of exploded just along with the beer culture here.
Yeah.
So has that been a long time thing, or is that a fairly new thing that they're recognizing?
I think for us, the first time that we saw that type of thing was like with a original heady top or a sip of sunshine, that type of style, and that's why I was saying that they used to call it, or started out calling it, a Vermont style IPA. Okay. And then it sort of just morphed into going, all right, if we're going to acknowledge this as a style, I think we're going to just envelop the whole north, the coast here.
You have Maine Beer Company who's doing theirs were all New England style IPAs, and a lot of the beer companies in Maine and Vermont, and then obviously in New Hampshire, were all making the same type of beer, and it was the style, and now it's really the type of beer. It's a beer style.
How would you define it? If somebody didn't know what one was, they drink
Please
more
don't
of a
say
brown
juicy.
ale.
Please don't say juicy. Please don't say juicy.
Hop forward.
Yeah, it's hop forward, but it's more of a hazy, citrusy Try not to use juicy.
Thank you.
Florally.
Thank you.
Less of a bittering hop backbone.
Yeah, no, I
Less
think
of a malt
out
backbone.
of the ones that, since we've been doing this and fucking the amount of beer that I've been drinking, I think I like those a lot. Like I don't know, maybe
They're
it's
really
'cause I'm
popular.
from here. Yeah,
They're really popular right now. The Latchkey, which is our New England style IPA, is by far the most popular beer we have.
It's really smooth. I like it.
Thanks. It's about 3 times, I would say, the next beer. So 3 times the sales.
Oh
of
yeah.
this to our next popular, which would probably like the honey or the Corona.
Yeah.
What was the first one you guys had that you were like, we could sell this? We could sell this. People are gonna love
Either
this.
our rye ale or a honey ale, I would say, in my opinion.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
do you still have those, or is
Yep.
that okay? I know a lot of the earlier
I
ones
guess I should
people
just
tend
talk
to
into this.
discontinue as they make them better and
Yep.
different things. So
Yeah,
Whoa.
I think the first
yeah, to turn it
beer
down a little. That
we
was a little
did.
loud. You
no,
can go
I
up a
lost
little.
it completely.
I think the first beer we did
There we
was
go.
the first all grain beer we did was an IPA, and it was more of a kind of like a Dogfish Head IPA.
Yeah, like a 60-minute.
Yeah, it's like a 60-minute
Yeah.
Dogfish IPA, and it was good. But as we kept making beer, we kept doing different things with the IPAs. Even we made the honey ale. We made a Mexican style lager, which most people aren't doing right now. But we improved upon the IPA to whereas the name of the IPA we had before we're not even using anymore, and now we have it's just a whole different IPA now. It's Latchkey or it's Radio Phase or it's the Black Arts Black IPA.
Yeah, that was really good.
Black Arts. Is that a lot of what you guys offer? Is IPAs? It's the
No, those are the 3 we have for IPAs out of the 8, but we have a pretty broad range. We have a stout, we have a porter, we have the honey ale, we have a rye ale, we have the Mexican lager, the Corona, which is really popular. What else?
Especially with entry-level people that are just coming in. They're
It's our
trying to
latest
embrace
beer.
the whole craft beer thing. and
that's your
they don't
flight
know where to
slot
start.
one.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. It's
found
it's nicknamed our lightest beer because you have people come in going, "What's your lightest beer?" Because they aren't craft beer people. They're just
Right.
there, and their husband is, and they just want a light Miller Light or something. But it's kind of like a Corona. It's a Mexican style
Yeah.
lager. It's yellow. It's clear.
No
Super
offense.
refreshing.
That
It's
might
really
be the
good.
only one I might not try.
It's
I
really
think
good.
you'd want to though.
Yeah?
I really do.
I do. I
See,
mean,
you know
I
what's
love it.
funny is I actually liked that one the least.
Really.
I thought the Mucho Macho was much better. It had I felt the Corona had more of a yeasty taste. But again, I only had that first flight when on your soft opening that we were there. So
Yep.
I'll have to go back again. But yeah, I definitely was like, you could taste the yeast on it.
Really.
I was like, I don't know if I like that one. But now that as you're explaining it as a Corona, I'm like, maybe that's it. I'm not a fan of Corona at all. But I did like
No.
the Mucho Macho, which is considered that's bigger brother. I thought that one was much better.
Yeah. Bigger grain bill.
Yeah.
No, the the Corona, Shane and I mean, we drank craft beer, but
Yeah.
every once in a while you drink, something from the store and they don't have any. Corona is what I would drink besides, before Bud Light or
Yep.
Bud or Coors Light or
Right.
Miller. It would be Corona. And we talked about it a long time. We said, you know what? Someday we're going to make a Mexican style lager just like this. I'm going to call it Corona. It was about 4 or 5 years
That's
ago.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then when we got our place, we never made it until we got our place. And then we decided to try it out.
It's been
do you
received
come up with
quite
recipes?
well.
Yeah.
How do you come up with recipes? Did you look up how do you even start building beer?
Well, I was gonna ask him this kind of the same thing. Like
I have
craft.
I have a hard time when I cook. I just make shit. I don't pay attention to what I'm making. I can never make the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Just
you can't
let's-
do that.
I can't because I just followed the directions to the key.
Yeah.
Because I'm not good.
It's a box of mac and
You
cheese.
either have to have a good recipe and follow it, or you got to come up with one and be consistent with it. Because the one thing you want with your beer is you want consistency. I mean, if I made the Latchkey one day and then you guys came in and loved it, and then you came in 2 months later and said I went to Latchkey and it's not the same beer, it's
Yeah.
not the same beer. A lot of people will make IPAs, and if it tastes a little different, they'll just call it something else. we're trying to make sure we do everything consistent. I mean, down to the temperature, down to the degree of temperature for fermentation, for the extract of the starches. All those things make it, a little bit more consistent. And once you start making beer and you have a place like we have and you're selling it and you're naming it, it's got to kind of be consistent. It's got to be almost the same beer every time you come in.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you can turn. I feel you can turn new craft beer drinkers off if they go there, order something, they like it, and then they come back a month later and they get that same thing and it tastes different and they don't like it.
Yep.
You can definitely lose new people real quick that way.
Yeah. Well, that, and I mean, one thing that Shane and I used to hate when we used to go around to other breweries and places where we were trying to get their beers, we'd go somewhere where we liked their beer and we had their IPA and we're like, it's about time, let's go to Burlington, let's go to this place and that place. And we'd make the trip all the way out there and you get there and they didn't have any of those beers on tap. They had a Gose and a brown ale. And you're like,
I
I guess I'll try them, but I drove all the way out here for the IPA.
Right.
And so that's one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to learn what we need to produce to keep our taps full of the ones we want to keep as staples. We're going to have some rotations, but if we can do that, then we'll kind of alleviate what we just talked about, which is people coming there and going, I came all the way here for the Cabrona. You have none of that. There's nothing else that's really like it. I guess I'll get that beer, but I'm not really that happy, and I came all the way out here for that. So
That happened to him.
well, it happens a lot. I mean, it happens to everybody, I think.
He almost got completely turned off on beer because they didn't have what he wanted.
Yeah.
Tried something else and got lucky.
what are you talking about?
The Kilgore.
Yeah. So that was my first big step into adult beer. I don't usually drink a lot now, but just Budweiser or hard liquor mainly. And then I was going to the gym across the street. They're like, you want to go for a beer after workout? Fucking sure. So I had a Kilgore, which is their coffee porter. It was fucking delicious. I love coffee. Abel Ebenezer in Merrimack.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
We've been. I just have never tried that particular beer. It wasn't familiar.
Yeah, their coffee porter. It's fucking delicious.
It's actually one of the only porters I like.
It was so smooth. I'm like, all right, I could drink this shit. I didn't realize at the time that it was their seasonal. So I had left. I never usually went to the brewery, and then I think we were having a party for the summer. I'm like, yeah, I've been talking about this beer. I'm going to go get it. And I go there. I'm like, yeah, can I get a growler of Kilgore? And the guy looked at me behind the counter. Come to find it's probably Mike, the owner, looked at me like, yeah, it's our spring beer. What? No, fucking.
We don't have that.
Oh, all right. Shit. I guess I'll get Burn the Ships. Sure, that works. And then from there, it's like, all right, that was good. Let me try this and more. And then between neighbors and friends that love other beers and drinks other beer, I've had too much beer lately. I don't want to say too much.
That's how it happens.
But it's just been so many. Like so many different ones, and they just keep popping up over and over the place. Like I've been out to Great Rhythm in Portsmouth. In Portsmouth,
Yep.
They have one called Nugs. That was a delicious beer.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when we started, we were doing the beer at the end. Like this episode is not even sponsored. We were just featuring beers at the end, like
Free pub for pretty much beers that we were trying and liked or didn't like.
Yeah. We would do it at the end, and then when we started as we evolve and getting video and stuff, I'm like, I want to do it in the beginning, have them. I want to prop them up as much as they can help us prop up, like get us involved.
Sure.
If they do stuff, maybe they'll think of us. I'll come host some shit. He might host some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come host some shit. He'll stand there.
I'll stand there.
he might talk a little bit, but I wanted to do it at the beginning and really feature the beer. And it's not talk about the beer. We're not a beer podcast, but we like to talk about beer and feature it. It's not. Like I said, I know you guys. I listen to What's Your Poison. I think they have a great fucking podcast. I've actually learned made me want to try different spots, and like them, I'm a little jealous because they have that ability to travel to the breweries.
Yeah,
it's a lot of driving.
Yeah,
it's a lot of driving.
But it makes it easy for the breweries.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I don't live that. It's not that far.
No.
New Hampshire is a small state, sir.
Nope.
But yeah, so in doing this, like, I don't know, I just love beer. But I've had so much.
What made you guys finally just go, fuck it, we're going to do it? we're just gonna put all in. We're gonna do this. We're gonna find a space. We're gonna get this thing going.
I think I have the answer to that. It was 60-gallon batches on the back porch. Yeah. I think
Jesus.
Before we got ourselves in trouble, or
And the spouse was like, "All right, do something with it."
Yeah. I think it was time to find a place to house our endeavor that we were working on there.
Yeah, we were getting ready to start storing stuff in his bedroom because there was nowhere on the place.
Right.
His wife was
Why
already
is it
upset with
cold in here?
Yeah. but yeah, no, that's we were doing big batches and
Now are you just like kind of giving them to friends at first and,
Yeah.
and just
kegging it up.
then all of a sudden one day they came to grab some and you were like, yeah, it's gonna be $10.
No, we couldn't do any selling, but we both have tap systems and bars in our own basements and everything.
Oh, nice.
We haven't, of course, haven't seen those in 3 months.
No.
But,
What got you into brewing?
If I actually pulled my tap right now, dust would come out.
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't had beer on tap in like 7 to 8 months.
No,
at
no,
least.
You have a
You mean
bar.
at your
Well,
house?
at my
You know what I mean?
house.
Like,
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but you have a bar.
Yeah, but I mean, just like a landscaper who comes home and his yard's a mess.
Yeah.
I'm a brewer. I got
I
no
don't-
beer in my house.
I don't fault those
happens.
guys. It's okay.
No, that's the thing. You come home and they're like, ugh.
But
I would like to pull up and have a beer, but
When did you start home brewing?
2014, actually.
Oh, so it hasn't. Oh, so you haven't. See, I just imagine people who brew beer like doing this for like a decade just for themselves, like
We
just
drank
'cause.
for ourselves for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you didn't start.
we did a lot of
brewing,
research
home
before
brewing?
that by drinking
really?
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we just one day I got a
Pull the
kit.
whole arm towards you if you want.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got a kit off of Craigslist, and we had talked about doing it for a long time. I used to work at a brewery in Arizona back in the early '90s, and loved the whole craft beer scene since then. Ever since I moved to Arizona, and lived in Denver for a while after that. Just loved all the local
it's
breweries.
beautiful
There's
out there.
tons of great breweries out there, and talked about doing it and everything. We were both busy with our what we were doing. I was doing carpentry and contracting. Jay was doing Xerox, selling Xerox copiers and servicing them. And so we just decided to start on the weekends and everything and start brewing beer at the house. And started with little 5-gallon batches like everybody does. Next thing it's 10, 20, we got better at it. Our friends were loving it. And then, like I said, we ended up doing pretty much 60-gallon batches at the end of the whole thing on my back porch.
There's so much beer.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot
a
of beer.
ton of
Like
beer.
for your house, like when it's not
Right.
a giant.
It
vat.
is, and it's a lot of expense at that point too.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, so
I wouldn't doubt it.
we got to a point where it takes the same time to make 5 gallons as it does 500, which is what we're doing now basically. So I mean, it was like, do you keep doing this and spending all the money to never make any of it back, and just treat your friends real good all the time?
And yourself.
Yeah.
But no, ourselves as well. But I mean, it got to the point
Yeah.
where we really almost had to make a business out of it. To be honest with you, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
if we wanted to stay doing it the way at that level that we were doing it,
Yeah, no, it actually mirrored a lot, except for I don't think our friends listened to it. But
Yeah. No.
like what we
your mom,
strive for to go through with this,
that one guy on Facebook that keeps messaging you obsessively. That's about it.
I can count 2 people that I know consistently listen to that. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we hope. Anyways,
Yep. Well,
Is there any place that you really like? You don't have to say the name if you don't want to. But is there any place that you'll drive the distance to go there?
for the beer? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's
There's a few
like a
places.
special place in your heart.
There's absolutely no places right now because we don't have any time.
right?
We barely had time to get here. We're a little late.
We were brewing tonight, actually.
Yeah, we just got done brewing. In fact, I'm wearing half of it. And if you looked at my shirt, I'm like, I got stout all over me.
It's all good.
But but yeah, we haven't had time. But there are places. There's quite a few actually. Maine Beer Company.
Yeah.
We haven't had that much Maine Beer Company beer in a while, but we do love that.
Throwback.
Yeah, Throwback. We actually we do.
I
travel
love that
there.
place.
We do
Yeah,
travel
how
there
can you
when
not?
we can.
Now,
Great product.
have you
great
gone
setting.
since? Apparently, they're in a new place now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That new barn that they're in.
Yeah, we've
they're
been
serving
there
the full
quite a few
service
times.
food and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My wife and I had stopped up there on our way to. We were taking an anniversary weekend, and we went up to Maine because wanted to go around check out all the breweries and stuff that they had up there, and we stopped there on the way up, and the food was good. everything they had was awesome. There was one beer that they had my wife really wanted to try, was their chai porter.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yep.
And we were a day away from them coming out.
No kidding.
Yeah, we were trying everything they had, and she saw it on the menu, and they're like, "Yeah, that doesn't come out until Sunday," and it was Friday. So maybe we'll stop by on the way back, and just didn't get to it. So
It's definitely worth
that place
the,
is awesome.
the trip again.
Yeah, that place
Definitely.
is good. One of the things we do when we have a beer that's really close, and someone comes there and they came there for that beer, we actually go out back to the fermenter and go to the sample valve and pour a little sample off and give them a little sample of it.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I hate going to a brewery for a specific beer that I know they make and getting there and being disappointed because they don't have it on. So like you said, if it was only 2 days away,
Yeah.
it's close enough where I can give you a sample and go, hey, listen, it's only 70 degrees or it's not carbonated yet, but here you go. Here's a little bit of it so you can at least try it.
Right.
We came all the way down here. And that's it, we get very good feedback from at least doing that.
I'll have to remember that because we didn't look for it. It just listed in the menu as starting on that date. So I'm sure if we had asked to try it, they might have done some. But I'll have to remember
Possibly,
that.
Yeah.
I heard the beer trade game is real too. Like people like to take other like locals, whether they brew or not, and bring them to other breweries and they trade. That's a phenomenal thing because not a lot of places do that. Like not a lot of businesses will do that. So
Well, the nice thing about our place is, Joe could tell you, we have cans all the way. We have a shelf all the way across on the perimeter of our building, up near the ceiling. It has all the cans of all the beers we've tried. And bottles. Actually, there's probably about 50-50 cans of bottles. 'Cause it used to be all bottles in one day. Now it's all cans. But there is one of every beer. There's no duplicates up there. And it fills the whole place all the way around the perimeter.
wow.
It's a lot of beer. So, I mean, we've done our share of research.
Now are those all donated by you?
Yeah. I
Most
mean,
of
us,
things
actually,
you tried?
not all. I mean, some were brought by friends of ours, and we tried it. But every single one of the beers up there, we've tried. We've personally tried every one of them. You know,
Oh, wow.
whether it was a sip and we just shared one amongst four of us, or we had one each, or whatever. We kept it and put the can up there.
Now the allure of the can shelf is that people that come in that have traveled to some of the other breweries that we can't quite get to right now because we're so busy, they see that as a challenge. Okay, so I see you don't have a such and such. I can't even really name one offhand, but I'll see you don't have this from this new brewery in Massachusetts. So I'm going to bring you some. And so it's it's a terrible taxing part of our job where we have to taste all these beers that great hard to get beers that people bring in for us, but it sure is fun.
Well,
Yeah, I
the
bet.
funny thing
That's
is
awesome.
too is that people have brought us in the empties and said, "Oh, look here's a beer you didn't have on your wall," and we're like, "That's great, but we haven't tried that, so we can't put it on our wall. You need to
Right.
bring that full. If you bring it full, then we can try it."
Right.
And that has been the little twist. And so now people are bringing us all these full beers of beers we never tried. They got coming in and going, "Here's this, here's that, here's this." And now we're able to
awesome.
try even more beers and have even more of a reach because it's beers we didn't even know we didn't try yet. That other people know we haven't tried because they don't see it on our wall and they bring us a full beer of it.
Challenge accepted.
I was gonna say challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I will see if I can find
That's great.
something.
After like the
on.
fourth or fifth time that someone brought us some, we literally had like 20 beers of all different kinds. I mean, heady top. You name the kind of beers. There were all these awesome beers from Treehouse and Trillium and everywhere.
Wow.
And Shane was like, "Jay, it's working. It's working."
That's awesome. I've heard good things about Treehouse.
Oh, excellent things.
Yeah.
The beer's great.
Yeah.
I hear a lot
I'm
about
gonna have
Heady
to go-
Topper. That seems to be a favorite among brewers. People who make beer tend to just.
Yeah, it's the
mention
it's
Heady
the cult
Topper.
classic beer.
Is it really?
Really, I mean, it's most people who don't even know craft beer have heard of Heady Topper.
Yeah.
Or they're getting into it and they hear Heady Topper. It's like a cult classic, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like
It's like having a Harley
an
Davidson.
industry standard. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like having a Harley Davidson, basically.
Yeah.
If you're looking to talk about motorcycles, and you want to have people think that you know what you're talking about, you're going to mention a Harley Davidson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then
Yeah.
it's on the same lines as that. It's everybody understands that, everybody's heard of it, whether they've ridden one themselves or whatever
Right.
like that. They know it and they understand it. So it's relative, basically.
Craft beer will change your perspective on not only drinking beer, but just beer in general. My wife was never a beer person, and she'll try anything now.
Yeah.
She likes to try
Beer wise.
beer wise. Well,
Depends on how much pants you think.
I'm gonna keep that a blanket statement. She will try almost anything.
I can say my wife can say #me too because of your wife.
My wife?
Yes.
Yes. Your wife has been
The Me Too.
assaulted by my wife.
Well, that sounds like a different podcast.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's the same
Is
podcast.
it?
Yeah, trust me, this thing can go off the rails real quick.
right, let's go
It's always good though.
Let's go there.
Yeah. Well, what changed? Like, I was a young kid. You know, I drank all the store bought beers. I don't want to say crap beers, but everybody drinks like the store bought beers.
Yeah.
Budweiser's, Bud Lights, all that stuff. And for my wedding, I got a beer of the month membership, and it just completely changed my outlook on how. Was that
Check,
you?
please.
That was you. Turn your eye. Do you know how to turn your iPhone on silent?
I do. It's on silent. I don't have a dinger.
It might have been one of your guests.
No.
Yeah, I've been getting notifications. I keep my shit on. Remember, it used to flash the
Oh,
the
yeah.
epileptic
It had
seizure.
the seizure flash. Yeah, I don't know why.
Nazi? Oh.
But yeah, I had never realized that there was anything other than what was in the stores. And
Yeah.
like, you used to get these. Oh, I'm so excited! New 12-pack this month. Get to try a bunch of new beers.
No, because it is a fun hobby. I mean, even just the going around and trying the different, seeing all the different artwork on the labels, everything like that.
That's what I'm really getting into now.
It breathed new life into kind of something that got kind of pedestrian, if you will, with just like you said, the Budweiser, the Bud Light, and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a place for all that. That's fine. But I mean,
That's my backyard barbecue beer right there. Like hanging
mowing
out.
your yard or whatever like that. And, the great thing is that they think that one thing they did is enlighten everybody to the importance of cans and just the versatility of cans, like Jason was mentioning earlier,
Yeah.
You go somewhere to go a little hiking or mountain biking and stuff, and, maybe you shouldn't have beer with you, but if you do, and you're packing it out, I'm sure they're going to be a little bit more tolerant of a can that you crush and put in your pocket versus a bottle that gets smashed on a rock somewhere,
As long as you're above the legal drinking age.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
We would never say anything otherwise.
Right.
Notice
But
the
yeah, I
label
mean-
on there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's got a new label, too?
It's a weird thing, like that rebranding.
But
Telling you,
it's true, though.
microbrews changed the game.
Well,
Yeah.
you think about it. Coca-Cola did it. I mean, every major company does it too. They change their name. I mean, Coca-Cola used to be Coca-Cola, and then also they went to Coke, if you remember. At one point.
Yeah.
And they changed their whole thing. At one point, they changed their whole recipe, and then went back to the old one again.
I like to say it's competition with them, but they own all that own shit. But I figure with like
They're the
with the
Disney of-
microbrews, like they changed the game for the big boys. They're like, fuck, what is all
Yeah.
this shit? Because I know I've talked to the sales rep for Shipyard, and he's told me like it microbrews popping up. They definitely took a hit.
Yeah.
Like it's like shit.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said earlier, Anheuser-Busch, places like that are buying a lot of microbrews. That's the thing is that they're saying, well, if you can't beat them, let's join them. Let's buy them out. So it's funny you see commercials for Budweiser, and they're like crapping on the craft beer industry, the dilly and some of those. Some of them are funny, but they're like crapping on that beer industry, the craft beer industry, which is growing, and theirs is shrinking by like I was told 6% per year.
Wow.
Like the last, I can't even tell you how many years. They said almost every year, Anheuser-Busch's sales decline by 6% every year.
I can see
But
it.
the craft beer industry is growing. Yet
Well, they're no longer in
crapping
light
on
beer either.
Huh?
They just lost. I think they just lost the top spot in light beer
Yeah.
to Coors Light instead of Bud Light.
It's both gross.
But they're doing the smart thing. They're like I said, if you can't beat them, you join them. So let's go buy a bunch of craft beer companies and.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the same. I don't know. I like going to the microbrews. There's such a different feel. Like, I don't want to trash on them, but like backyard breweries, like to me, it's just a yard, man. I don't know. Like they have some good
Says
beers.
right in the name.
They do have some great beer. They have some great beer, though.
They do have some
do have
good
good
beer,
beer.
but the feeling is not the same.
You're talking atmosphere.
As walking into your guy's place or all the other, or not all the other, just a small, nice, I don't know,
Intimate.
warehouse feel, intimate feel. Like, I like that atmosphere. There, it just feels like a restaurant that, they make beer here.
Yep.
But it's like, man.
I think that's important with the craft brews. Well, you need for me, I like it, like he said, an atmosphere. When you go to the brewery, you need a good atmosphere. You need a good vibe to go along with the new things that you're about to try. Because when I go to a new brewery, I've never had anything that they have for the most part.
Sure.
So, I mean, I want a good atmosphere too. So if you just kind of go there and you're like, man, you're gonna go in with like a preconceived notion, in my opinion, as to what you're gonna be drinking. Everything's gonna be meh. But, yeah, like the whole craft brew thing has just been a new experience for me. Like,
and that's the operative word right there too, is experience.
I think
That's what it's supposed
people
to be.
People are looking for an experience when they come in.
You don't just go in. Oh, here's the beers we have. Drink those. Those are great. It's the whole thing's supposed to be inviting. We try to engage all the customers that come in. Repeat customers or new, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We try to either whether it's our servers, ourselves, any of our people that work with us, they try to go out and make sure everybody's been, they come in, they're looking around, they don't really know how the whole thing works, whether we have table service or how it all really works.
It is a little confusing in some places. You're like,
So we try to make sure we go out there and welcome everybody and engage them and just sort of see where they're at. Are they new to beer, craft beer at all? Do they go to all the other ones? Do they just come from another brewery? Are they going to another brewery? That kind of thing, because it's a great camaraderie with all the other breweries around. That's the thing about it. I mean, so there is different styles. You do have the backyard. It's a larger, in some regards, we really think that's awesome that it's a lot bigger because they can do certain other things there, functions, meetings, that kind of thing like that. But we can also see what you're saying, whereas, a lot of times it may seem too big there and less intimate or whatever, but
you don't want to just go in and walk to the bar and hear Journey playing in the background and order something that's on tap. You need there's a vibe to a lot of the good breweries you go to.
Yeah.
You walk in, whether it's rustic or modern or whatever, it's an experience. And that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, but that's got to be kind of a goal, right? What you're saying, like you want to get big enough or popular enough that like then people go, hey, can you guys host this function? Are you able to acquire or be able to have this many people here at this time to provide food? For October, right now, I don't even know if you're aware that we have a beard competition going on.
I haven't started yet.
We have 15.
Stop.
15,
that took me 3 weeks to grow.
We have 15 competitors that we all got clean shaved in January. We go until August. It's for Veterans Counts. We're raising money and awareness to them. We have people voting on us with monthly updates. That's Bearded Sinners help us put that together. Like those guys are awesome, and they host a lot of crap throughout the year. Well, not crap, the charitable events like their public meeting. They have a beard bash coming up at DC's Tavern on the 16th of March. Like they do a lot of cool stuff, but it's at the end or October, I think we were thinking.
Yeah, we wanted to do a brew tour.
A brew tour, and it's like, all right. So now in visiting all these places, it's like, all right. Well, this one opens up at this time. This one has food. This one doesn't have food. Right. Like how the logistics of it. But I definitely have you guys on the map.
Cool. Nice.
Well, see, and that's also what I wanted to ask you, because when we went to Maine, they had 3 or 4 different companies that will take you around by bus, and they provide a little bit of a food package, and it's like a 4-hour tour. I don't see a lot of those going on around here.
There's not.
Is it a legal thing that they don't do that, or is it there's just maybe they don't feel there's enough of a business or enough breweries?
I know the guy who runs the one over in the Portsmouth area, Portsmouth, Maine area.
Yeah, there's
Dave from Growler Tours.
There's one,
and he's been trying to come this way. He wants to come this way.
Was it a competition?
No, he doesn't.
He still has a day job.
Yeah, he has a day job. He doesn't have a lot of money to go out and buy a bunch of buses and then buy, have
assign drivers.
Yeah, have people
narrators.
and the insurance and everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
So he's doing it where he's doing it, and he makes what he makes. But I don't think he's able to expand this way as much as he would like to.
Right.
We've talked to the owners of the backyard and a couple of the other ones right around us. About possibly starting our own shuttle service.
Yeah.
Where we literally have a shuttle that goes just to our breweries, doesn't go to a bunch of the other ones, and just literally like on the hour, every hour,
we'll circle
there's going to be someone's going to pull up, and you can, up there's the bus, he's here, you go out, You go to the next brewery, and you can park your car in one place and kind of do the whole circuit. But then you could take that in a couple different ways too. I mean, the backyard actually has a hotel, and they have a restaurant where they have
do they?
dinner.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's actually the hotel I stayed at for Mark Well's wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the Best Western. They have a huge function hall too. I mean, the executive court
Right.
is a huge function area too. So I mean, one of my visions is to have a shuttle service that actually would have something where, like on a Friday and Saturday night, you can actually buy tickets for probably be like a couple $100, but it would take you to all the breweries and bring you back to the backyard where you'd have dinner and then stay overnight in their hotel.
Oh, a couple $100 involving a hotel room.
Yeah.
See, that's brilliant because when we went to Portland, like I said, there were a bunch of them, and the average price was, I'd say, about $60 a person, which is completely reasonable in my opinion. $60 a person. They take you on a 4-hour journey basically, where you get a little bit of food included. It's not a ton. You're not going to get like a giant meal, but you're going to get a flight. One of the beers, each brewery usually offered a flight and then one beer out of that flight that you wanted. And you go to 4 or 5 of them in 4 hours. Yeah. And I mean, there's a gap between Maine and like Southern Mass where there's just none of that. I mean, you look for it, and I found one that is out of, I believe it's Western New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. But they are way out there.
Right.
So, they don't come around to these places. So, I didn't know if there's a market for that, if there's just companies I'm just not finding.
I'm in talks with the owner of Barley and Hops. They had did one out this way last year.
Just went out. Like, I can't hear it coming out.
Did you step on your thing?
No. There's like,
can you turn your mic up? You can talk to him. He can hear you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to interrupt you. I was trying to get his attention.
Well, I know. I did the same thing, and now it still makes
me interrupt you. We have sound guy Lenny, and I didn't want to interrupt you.
That's all right. So, because I wanted to do this brew tour in October, I went. The owner of Able knows them and said that he did one like a year ago, or no, last spring. He went to go do another one, but it didn't pan out. But he knows there is that company on there, so he's trying not to trudge on his territory. Sure. But he wants to do a couple out this way too, so I've been talking with him. And then I just found this the other day, Greg and Jane's Beer Tours out of Epping. Like, okay. I'll give him a little shout out because I put it on calling.
It's a beer store.
That one is?
They have a beer store. Greg and Jane's
really?
Is a beer store, yeah.
No shit.
Yep.
All right. So
that's where you begin and end.
There you go. So, either way, I plan on putting together one. I'm definitely going to hit you guys up.
A few people that have come and solicited to us as well that are just trying to do things personally themselves and trying to get something off the ground as well. And we've been less apt to be, involved with things like that. Yeah, we would be more interested in doing something like Jason said with some of the other breweries. That,
that's awesome.
Not to like control the whole thing either, but just more. I think more of it's just to manage some of the liability.
That
can come along with it and make sure we're doing things right.
Yeah, that's definitely that's why I'm doing one as a fundraiser. But that is a concern.
Well, that's why one of the things I mentioned
all
was
day drinking.
Being dropped off at a hotel room rather than. You're not driving all day. You're in the bus. So you're getting, you're drinking and you're not driving. Right. But then you get dropped off at your car.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
that's
Uber motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but you got to rely on people's honesty to say that they're really going to do that.
That is right.
If you were to purchase for an increment that's going to be substantial, you're going to purchase this like Jay said a tour and stay type of a package. You're not going to just pay for the whole stay part, not stay.
Yeah,
right.
It's pretty much that you're going to stay. You got a pretty confident feeling that the person's going to stay, and there's not going to be any.
And if not, it's not. You're not really liable for them. They're supposed to, and that's
right.
They decided to do something.
That's a good point, sir.
I mean, it does have to. It's all fun, but it has to come down to safety too. I mean,
and liability.
Yeah, we're dealing with the public here, and they don't always have always the best. We could have the best intentions, but it might not always end up that way. Let's just say that.
Right.
A person's good. People are dumb.
Yeah.
Now, you guys got a really great logo. And when I go into a store to buy something different,
haven't heard this story, have you?
no, I haven't. I have no idea how it came along, how you guys came down to the name and the logo itself. But when I go into like a beer store or Barley and Hops or whatever, and I'm looking for something new, I've tried a lot of what's in there. I want something that's going to catch my eye. And the artwork on some of these cans are pretty awesome. The labels, whatever. They're going that direction like Joe had mentioned earlier. How did you guys come to the label that you have, the cat? I mean, it is a cool logo. Like, it's this, like, sly, like, mischievous looking cat.
Yeah, exactly. An alley cat.
Yeah.
Did one of you have a cat that looked like that?
No.
Come on, man.
No. You got it. Well, no.
You want me to tell you a story?
Way too skinny.
So his daughter drew it when she was 5.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not that
version.
She would draw pictures of long cats, and she had a long blue cat when you guys were coming up with a recipe, and it was sitting on top when you're trying to figure out your name. Yeah.
Sort of.
Basically,
Yeah, something like that. I mean, she was drawing them all the time, so we used to see them all the time, and they were always elongated, always blue, and blue marker for whatever reason. And I just remember one day there was a couple of them on the table, and I remember I'm just going, honey, what are these things you keep drawing? What is this thing? And she was like, looked at him like, duh. She's like, it's a long blue cat, Dad. And he was like,
which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. Yeah, that looks great, honey. Good job.
At least it's legible.
Oh, okay. And then we were trying to figure out one day, what are we going to name? We were actually bottling and trying to figure out the names of the beers. Just, what is this IPA going to be named? And we're like, well, we got to come up with a name for ourselves, too. I mean, eventually we're going to probably maybe do this. And we thought for a while about a name. Couldn't come up with one. His wife said, well, why don't you just call it Long Blue Cat? We're like, all right. Sounds good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of companies come out like that, where it comes out that simple and personal. But yeah.
Well, the funny thing was, obviously, that was not the cat that she drew.
No, I wouldn't.
So the one that she drew looked like a kid drew it, and it was long and whatever. But we have a picture of it in our brewery. But his cousin's a really good artist. Sean is a really good artist, and he has been. We grew up together, and he's always been a really good artist. And so we took the original that she made, and it's funny he was saying the mischievous,
Yeah.
Because we told him, we said, listen, can you take this, but make it more like an oval shape? Because we were picturing like on a neck of a beer bottle.
Right.
So like like an oval spot, then you have the band goes around. We were picturing, so we said, make it more of an oval shape. But we said, but make it a scrappy, punky alley cat with like an attitude. Something you'd see down in Boston crawling up behind the thing, and yet he's a Casanova. He's a ladies' cat, but he's gonna go beat someone up and get a little food. When we saw that picture and it came over, we're like, that's exactly what we were picturing. Yeah. In my mind, that's exactly pretty much what I was picturing.
I would feed that cat nachos coming out of a bar at 2 a.m. I swear to you, I would.
Yeah.
If the cat was coming out of the bar, you were coming out of the bar.
If I was coming out of the bar with the nachos.
And he was behind the dumpster.
Yeah, I would feed him while I was puking next to the dumpster. I would feed that cat nachos.
Were those nachos that you had earlier, or?
Probably.
You're feeding him the nachos from his belly.
Come and get it.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
you guys got a lot of function. Do you guys do anything?
Not a lot.
Like a music night or trivia nights or anything like that? Yeah.
We don't do a lot right now.
We're
trying to get our feet underneath us right now, still with the beer and everything. But we do entertainment every Friday night. We have a somewhat local artist. Mostly right now, it's just like a one man or a two duo, like acoustic more.
Yeah.
We do eventually. We are going to be moving upstairs. We have a 2-story.
Yeah.
We're only downstairs right now. There's 2,400 square feet upstairs as well.
Oh, wow.
That we're planning on doing a bar and a restaurant up there. And there's a big 20 by 40 patio out there where we're going to have outdoor seating. But beyond that, we're going to be putting a little a fire pit out there. But we also want to put a stage with power out there and a roof. And it's going to be facing the building.
Right.
So we can have bands out there. And then it would be more of a band.
Yeah.
Than
you get in trouble by the town.
One-person show.
Are you close enough to like not civilization here, but like do you have houses like close enough around you that
no, not really. It's
Nobody's
pretty much. There's a few houses that if they really listened hard could hear it, but we're in the middle of the woods on 28 in the middle of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which is great.
it is great as far as that goes too. As far as like if we want to have a band and big bands, it can be really loud. Not that we're really going for that, but we could do something like that if we wanted to.
Do you guys keep early hours? And I don't mean early. I mean you don't close at 1 a.m.
No.
You definitely close
Fairly
a lot
early.
early. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot. I noticed it first with Able. They're only open a few hours a day.
Right.
But when we went to Maine, I also noticed a lot of them closed by 10 p.m. at the latest.
Yeah.
We're open. We're not open Monday and Tuesday. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday from 11 to 8, and then Friday and Saturday from 11 to 10. It is 10 o'clock on a Friday is kind of 10 o'clock on a Saturday is kind of early for some people.
Yeah.
But we're a craft beer bar. We're not a bar.
Right.
So we really don't want people coming to our place for last call.
No.
We really don't want people out that are looking to be out till 2, 3 in the morning drinking all night
Right.
at our establishment.
Right.
We don't mind them coming there at the beginning, having a little bite to eat, having a beer or two of some good beer, and then going elsewhere. Do what you want. But myself, I mean, when I go to a craft beer bar, I usually don't drink 15 beers.
Right.
I have a beer or two, I grab a
hell
growler, then
no.
I go home.
Yeah.
And that's more of what we want too. Is we really don't want. We're not going to have beer specials. We're not going to have the Patriots are on. Come in and half price beers. We really don't want any of that. We want to just have people that want a good beer, a good experience, and a nice establishment. And that's kind of the atmosphere we're going for.
Yeah, too many of those radio faces, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah,
That's one of the things that I've really kind of enjoyed about going to a lot of breweries and craft beer. It's not because, it's partially because I'm old and I don't like being out late anyways. I'm not a bar hopping type of person, but
because you're old.
Well, no, I wasn't really a bar hopping type of person when I was a little bit younger either. I don't like being
all
out
your
all night.
friends were, so you had to.
Because I had to make sure nobody got arrested. But I like the experience of going. You can try one or two different ones, maybe grab a bite to eat and try a third one, and then you head home. Yeah, or try a flight and head home. It's not like going to a bar. I try to stress that to people who aren't craft brew people, is that when you go to a brewery, for the most part, it's not a bar experience. You're not going into some smoky, dark place where you're
just a bunch of swearing,
right? Where you're
loudness
just drinking beer,
right?
Like this is getting back to it. What we were talking about earlier. It's a full-on experience when you go into these places, and the fact that they close earlier is awesome because then you don't get the all-night, late-night, rowdy crowd.
Right. Yep. No.
If you need a bouncer, though, he has experience.
Only once at Murphy's. I did once for a little while. But now you got to wrap it up. I know you're not finished your beers. You're more than welcome to stay and drink. We're not kicking you out. But for
we have
upload
a time limit on
possibilities,
how much we can upload.
did you think of a would you rather? You didn't. So you didn't, did you?
I did, but it's not really appropriate right now.
Oh boy.
Would you rather?
It's kind of a recyclable one, but it's a good one.
Are you gonna use Randy's beer one?
No.
Well, that's what I was gonna use. What are you gonna use?
All right, you use Randy's beer one. Let's go.
Is yours that bad?
It is bad. It's all I could think of. I had heard it somewhere else years ago, and it boggled my mind. So,
what seems to be your boggle?
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
100 horse-sized ducks. No, whatever the
duck-sized horses.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
You've heard it before, right? I heard it a couple years ago.
I've heard that in sports where they said they kind of make it like, would you rather 12 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? And what they mean by that in sports is, would you rather a bunch of guys that are pretty good or one guy who's really good?
It was an analogy, but the one I had heard was just they went exaggerated with 100. So that's why I don't like it.
I'd fight the 100 horses.
You'd fight the 100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah.
Instead of
they're only
one
that
duck-sized horse?
Yep.
Wait, horse-sized duck?
Yeah.
I'd be the horse-sized duck.
Oh,
It's
wait.
The horse
it's
size
only
duck.
one.
That's
It's
one.
a duck. What's he gonna do?
Punch it in the face. What's he gonna do?
Ducks are
Crack a
vicious
tooth?
their size now. Way
Are they?
more. I mean,
Horses are too.
Dude, you can kick them in the head.
Oh,
I guess you can
dude.
kick a duck in the head too.
You
I
can
don't
kick
know.
a duck in the head. You got something better? You want to do a double up?
No, I was just gonna
What's
do
the
the beer one.
I don't know what that is.
What's
That
the beer
Randy
one?
said.
What's the beer
So,
one?
the way that it was phrased to us, you could only drink. You pick one beer that you can drink every day, and then one beer that you can only drink one day.
That's still tough.
It's not tough. It was very simple. I explained it to you very easily.
You did.
I will not repeat it until after. You guys get to go first.
So, what beer would we prefer to drink if we had to drink it every day?
If you had to drink it every day, or could drink it every day, I mean, I guess it doesn't mean you have to, but if it was like your every day, you come home, I'm going to drink this every day. And
But
then
it's only
there's that.
one beer.
But it's
only the one type of beer.
Yeah, and then the one that you can drink once a day, one day, is as many as you want. So you can go buck wild if you really wanted to.
So
it could be
every
5
Saturday you could drink as much of it as you want.
basically, yeah.
Or every day you could have one of something.
Right.
I think it would be probably the one day drinking as much as you wanted to, because although I don't know,
You're busy.
pretty tough.
You don't have time for that.
I was gonna say, because I like drinking a beer almost every day, but a lot of times after I drink that beer, I want a second and a third. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it is.
I don't know. I think. I don't know.
But I mean that like the beer, like the specific beer.
Yeah.
No,
Like a brand name.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's a question for people that don't own a brewery themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're drinking more than one every.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have like a skewed opinion on this right now because they have a plethora of beers that they can drink anytime they want.
Yeah, but
they can't narrow
we
it
still have
down.
our own like little
Little
favorites that are still store bought favorites
Yeah.
and things. I think so. Yeah,
Sure,
I love the Two Roads, Little Heaven.
I have not had that one.
No, note that.
Write
Very-
down.
Put that into
yummy,
Siri.
Sessionable IPA that's readily
That was a
available
joke.
almost at any store. You know.
I'm gonna have to look for that one.
Then again, on the same lines, you get your Great North Tie Dye is another great.
Those
great
actually were really
mainstay.
good.
That's a
Uh,
great.
We had that on
their
the show.
IPA.
Yeah.
Just their
Yeah.
IPA. I like. I just their IPA.
yeah, I do too.
I think I recently found Hijack from Hobbs. That's
okay.
a good like.
I haven't had that one yet.
That was the
We
first
had
one we
tried
had,
it
right?
out. Set the,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
had
Best in New
I've
Hampshire
had
a couple
Hobbs
years
before,
ago.
and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, their hijack was really good, and like a portion of their 6-pack went to some veterans outfit, some nonprofit or whatever.
great.
But
I like the hijack more than I like the
it's
escaping me
Pitch
now.
a Tent.
Pitch Tent. Yeah, the Pitch Tent was
From
good.
Hobbs,
Yeah, I enjoyed the other one better.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
I think for me, it's I would rather have one victory a day than have one day where I could drink as many as I want. Because as many victories as I want would be like 3, and I'd be sleeping the rest of the day. So I'm just gonna go one a day.
Victory, no defeat.
Oh yeah,
Yummy.
it's my go-to
Double IPA.
like
Yeah.
favorite, but I can't have more than 1 or 2.
That's a fair point.
So I'm gonna go one every day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You
Except-
changed my opinion on this one too, because
So
at first I went buck
when they
wild.
first asked the question, all the people that we were with were like, "Oh,
We were all
we
drunk
would
at the
drink."
time, too.
Yes, we were, and other stuff. They were all picked like the beer that they drink every day, like PBR or Budweiser, to drink every day, and then their one that like the victory that they'd only pick that day where they could drink as many as you want. I'm like, nah, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm gonna drink victory every day, and then drink the Budweiser on that one day. So that way, because you're only gonna drink 20 when you drink that type of shit, anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I hadn't thought
drink
about it
20
that
of
way.
these, you're gonna get, if you could even drink 20, you're gonna get very full, very fat, and
Very
pass
drunk.
out. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
Probably very hungover too.
I'll take my victory. One a day, I'm good. Done.
But yeah, dude, thanks you guys for coming, man. I hope you guys
Really
had fun. It was
appreciate
a
it.
blast.
Yeah, it is fun. Thank
Like
you.
I said, you guys are definitely on my tour when I put that together.
Cool.
He's gonna be starting a beer tour company soon.
No, that's I got time. to
He's an
start that
ambitious
shit.
motherfucker. Let me
No,
tell you.
it's more the fundraising. It's gonna be for a fundraiser. Like I think that's more not more of the avenue, but some of the avenue that I want to do with this. I want to give back to the community, so I'm down to help out people.
sure.
And this thing that we're doing with the beard competition, we have an event in May at Able. It's, if you guys can make it down, we're raffling off a smoke-fed pellet smoker from Green Mountain Grill.
Wow.
Way better than a Home Depot one.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
These things are
amazing.
Get yourself a raffle
we
ticket.
gotta figure out how we can win that.
Remote control
Really?
from your phone,
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
dude, things
connected. You can control it from the bar.
Yeah, it's
So there you go.
they're a
I'd save your knees
badass
from going up and down the
smoker.
stairs.
But yeah, it's gonna be a Mario Kart tournament that we're holding at Able. We're gonna have food catered, but
That was
it's
full
definitely
circle.
on my list for my beer tour. And
Sounds good. And then you have that other event at DC's Tavern as well.
yeah, well, that's a Bearded Sinners. That's them. But yeah, I'll talk. I gotta show up and at least say hi. But
Yeah.
I know they guys love your shit, so I'm sure they're gonna be hitting you up for more of their events.
Yeah, we gave them some stuff for that one event.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
that's-
down this weekend.
Sure,
I'm gonna come down this weekend.
Cool,
I'm making it a point to come down with the wife and
Let
hang
me
out
give you his
for.
phone number. You can text him.
Yeah.
How come you're not here yet,
Where are
Billy?
you?
Yeah.
What's a better day to come?
Depends on what you like.
I like not a ton of people,
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
not overcrowded.
Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
Sunday's a
And
nice,
what time do you guys open
even,
on Sunday?
steady.
See, I'm cool with that. I don't like getting up to go to the bathroom and bumping into 5 people on the way there.
That's,
you know?
that's Saturday.
Okay, so
that's
Sunday
Saturday.
will probably be the day.
Yeah,
Come
Sunday's
out for a
better.
couple hours.
Yeah,
But
you'll like it better on Sunday.
definitely.
Yeah.
The wife, I'm telling you, I'm going. I'll report back to you. Maybe I'll report to you while
From
I'm
there.
there. Yeah.
Hey, dude.
Live
Facebook.
remote.
I'll Facebook
Yeah,
live you.
Live remote.
There you go.
broadcast.
Sign in.
Yeah.
It's been fun, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
thanks,
out
guys.
again.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thanks
cheers.
for coming.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
What time you guys open on Sunday?
11.
11.
11 to 8.
Thank you.